The lady from Texas is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield such time as she may consume Ms. Rosen.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Ranking Member Johnson. I rise today in support of my bill, H.R. 3397, the Building Blocks of STEM Act, which also includes my Code Like a Girl Act. I first want to thank my Republican colleague, Steve Knight, for working with me and co-leading this important legislation, and to our Science Committee Chairman, Lamar Smith, for helping me move this bill through committee. I am proud to see both of my STEM education proposals come to the floor with wide bipartisan support. STEM and computer science are central to our country's innovation, economic growth, and employment. Across the country, we're seeing a huge demand for workers in the tech industry, including software developers, engineers, and computer programmers like myself. I built my career in STEM, a field that's long been dominated by men, so I know all too well the demand for talent in STEM is real. In my home state of Nevada, tech companies like Tesla, Switch, and Google are leading the way to create the jobs of the future. Even across all industries, about 15% of the jobs in Nevada require a high level of knowledge in at least one STEM field. Despite these increasing opportunities in STEM careers, not enough Americans possess the education and skills necessary to succeed. This disparity between computing and scientific talent and employer demand, it really starts as far back as elementary school. Studies have found that children who engage in scientific activities from an early age, they develop positive attitudes towards science and are more likely to pursue STEM careers later on. In fact, interviews with current graduate students and scientists found the majority of them reported that their interest in science began before middle school. The bill before us today, the Building Blocks of STEM Act, will ensure that we're investing in our children as early as possible by directing the National Science Foundation to equitably distribute funding across the age groups. Specifically, this bill would direct funding to include early childhood education in the Discovery Research Pre-K through 12 program, which seeks to enhance the learning and teaching of STEM and address the immediate challenges facing pre-K through 12 STEM education. Currently, the Discovery Research Pre-K through 12 program focuses the majority of its research on students in middle school or older. Since having access to hands-on STEM experiences as early as possible is important for continued interest, my bill will ensure that NSF focuses on engaging our nation's children in STEM education even younger, specifically those under the age of 11. H.R. 3397 also includes the text of another STEM bill of mine, the Code Like a Girl Act, which I introduced with the support of Republican co-lead Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. This is also co-sponsored by Research and Technology Subcommittee Chairwoman Barbara Comstock and Science Committee Ranking Member Eddie Bernice Johnson, and I would like to thank them both for their support. This legislation is for our girls like Isabel, an 8th grader from my district who loves STEM. She's on her high school robotics team. Last year, for a school project, she proposed a new monitoring system to accurately assess the fire issues at Yellowstone National Park. And this past summer, I received a letter from Isabel. And in her letter to me, she offered an idea on how to increase and improve solar energy in Nevada. I wrote back to Isabel and later had the opportunity to meet her and her family in person. I thanked her for her advocacy and let her know that we will only move forward in this country by inspiring young minds to create, innovate, and imagine the future. Isabel is one of the young girls we're fighting for today. And young girls should know that they're more capable of succeeding in STEM and that they can grow up to be the next Grace Hopper or Katherine Johnson. This bill will help bridge that divide and close the gender gap that for too long has deprived young women from achieving their full potential. These young, talented minds could be working on our nation's most challenging problems by inventing the next breakthrough technology, founding future startup companies, improving access to health care with computing, even keeping our nation safe from cyber attacks. The Code Like a Girl Act would create 2 NSF programs to encourage young girls to pursue computer science. As we all know, the gender gap in the STEM workforce is widening. Women only hold about 26% of STEM jobs, even though they make up more than half the U.S. workforce. This gender disparity extends down through all levels of education. In 2015, approximately 23% of AP computer science exam takers were girls. And gender stereotypes, well, they begin at a very early age. Studies have shown that around 6 years old, girls develop the belief that brilliance is a male characteristic. And this negative stereotype is shown to have an immediate effect as girls start to lose their interest in activities they perceive as requiring brilliance. Another study found that young children, both boys and girls, already believe that boys are better than girls at robotics and programming. It's unclear where precisely this stereotype originates from, but implicit biases can have a negative impact on a girl's academic achievement in math and science, and on their future decisions to enroll in advanced courses in these subjects. The Code Like a Girl Act addresses this issue by creating NSF grants to increase understanding of the factors that contribute to the participation of young girls, 10 and younger, in STEM and computer science activities. This bill also creates a grant program to develop and evaluate interventions in pre-K and elementary school classrooms with the goal of increasing participation of young girls in computer science. Some of these activities may include teacher training and professional development, classroom programs on gender-inclusive teaching practices, and providing mentors for girls who support their computer science aspirations. We know that young girls are interested in science, math, and computing, but we need to make sure that as they grow older, they stay involved and engaged. We also know that knowledge of computer science and use of technology is becoming increasingly essential for all individuals, not just those planning to work in the technology sector. STEM education cultivates curiosity, their creativity. It teaches them to work as a team and fosters critical thinking skills that are fundamental for success in any field. Mr. Speaker, this legislation will help invest in our students. It will help them rise to meet the challenges of a changing economy that increasingly relies on highly skilled labor and technology. I'm proud to stand for our students before this chamber because together we're making smart investments that will help our children succeed. Smart investments so that we can help our communities build more effective workforces and a stronger, competitive economy. For these reasons, I am proud that my Building Blocks of STEM Act, including the text of my Code Like a Girl Act, is being considered today. With the passage of these bills, we are one step closer to bridging the current gaps in STEM education and workforce training. Building the blocks for careers in STEM will prepare Nevadans and all Americans for better jobs and help us meet the demands of our 21st century economy. I urge my colleagues to support this legislation, and I yield back the balance of my time. Thank you.